Everybody wears a mask. You wear a mask, I wear a mask when we're out in the public realm. We don't exactly say what we think, right? We're all a bit strategic. And if you're not careful, you're constantly saying the wrong things. You're constantly misreading people. You're doing things at your job that you think are going to impress, but they have the opposite effect. And then something bad happens and you're confused and you're emotional. It was like this circle atmosphere of pain around the globe of people suffering because they don't know how to handle the people in their lives. So if you're ambitious, channeling that energy into becoming the best and beating the competition is a productive way of using that dark energy. If you feel angry about a cause or something that pisses you off about the world, some injustices, instead of whining about it, etc., you go out and you do something. You get involved in a movement or whatever. You channel that energy into something productive. That's the way to deal with the dark side. And you can't go throughout life imagining that you're this saint because you're not. You have these qualities. Yeah, it's a trap. You can't fall into that. So one of the laws of power that I have, one that I think is very important, I think it's law 25 or 26, I don't remember the number, is recreate yourself. So the moment people start know who you are, they identify, they create your identity. Oh, Robert Greene is this person who writes these dark Machiavellian manipulative books. Then I'm trapped. I'm trapped by their perception of me, and I always have to be like a little dog performing for them. Right? And I don't want to fall into that trap. You have to recreate yourself. You have to use your personality and who you are as clay that you are molding. You're like an artist. And so you change yourself. For each person, it's different. So for me, it means I don't write 48 Laws of Power Part 2. I write now a book that's not like the 48 Laws of Power at all. For you, it's doing your podcast, but changing it up. Or maybe you do a different podcast, or maybe you go into a different career set. Maybe you become a CEO or an entrepreneur in a different direction. I was recently on Andrew Huberman's podcast, right? One of the most successful podcasts besides yours in the world. And I don't want to, it's going to sound like bragging, but the book mastery helped him a lot because he was a professor, I believe, at Stanford. I hope I have it right. Everything was going well. He was on a fast track in neuroscience, but he was miserable. He hated the politicking. He hated all the bullshit that you have to go through in academia. And then he read the book and he goes, I don't know how old he was. He must have been in his early 30s. He goes, I don't want to do this. I want to change. I want to recreate myself. He decided to go into podcasting and to take all of his knowledge about science and neuroscience and bring it into a different medium. And so that's extremely powerful because if he had stayed in academia, he would have gone down the path that we're talking about. It sounds a little sexier than being in finance and you're 47, but being stuck in academia when it doesn't fit you with all the nasty politics that go on in universities, etc., that is a path for misery if he doesn't fit. So you have to kind of go through this process all the time and not let other people tell you who you are. It usually happens when you're successful that people start giving you these identities that kind of define who you are. And if you're okay with it, that's fine, if it doesn't. But I'm a big believer in listening to your own pain and listening to your own frustration. So when you feel frustrated in life, you have to go through a process. You have to look at it and you have to go, what is the source of it? Normally, the first thing you'll do is you'll blame other people. You'll blame the world. You'll blame your spouse, your children, whatever, right? And you won't really look at what it is, why you're frustrated. And if you look at it deeply enough and you go, I'm really frustrated because I'm not enjoying my work. I'm making money. I'm going there every day and I'm going through the motions and I'm successful and people admire me, but I'm not happy. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. You've got to lean into that pain. You've got to lean into what frustrates you and go, I can't go on another 5 years like this because the mind and the body are tied in. There's no difference. We're all one. We're all a unity. And so when you start having these frustrations, these desires that you're not acting upon, it creates physical problems. You're not aware of why suddenly your blood pressure is rising, why suddenly your back is having pain like I'm having right now. It's all interconnected. And when you're not doing something that you're not engaged with, your whole being goes out of whack. Everything doesn't work. You've got to listen to it. You've got to understand it. And you've got to go, I want some joy and some excitement in my life. I want a challenge. It takes some fearlessness, because leaving a prestigious job at Stanford, we've got money. I don't know if he had tenure or not, or perhaps he did. It takes some guts, because you're leaving something that's a convention, that's stable, et cetera, et cetera. But you've got to go, it's not worth the price. It's not who I am. I'm going to suffer for it down the road. And so, let's say he decided to go into podcasting and it failed. All right, so be it. Then he learns that, and he's somebody who's very smart. He would have figured out another direction to go in. If my book, The 48 Laws of Power, hadn't been a success, I don't know what would have happened to me, but hopefully I would have figured out another way to go, because I also had to drop a career direction that I was going in. But you've got to try. You've got to be able to try, and you've got to go say to yourself, it's actually a great thing in your 30s, let's say, to go, I need something new. I need something completely different. I need a new challenge. I'm going to drop this. I'm going to start something. You won't believe the energy that will suddenly rise up in you, right? You'll suddenly feel invigorated. You suddenly feel youthful again. I'm not stuck in this thing. I can try something else. Sometimes the bottom has to drop out before you realize what you really want and what you really, need to get in life. I wish it weren't that way, but feeling like you're suffering and that you need a change, and that if you go on this way, bad things are going to happen, is the greatest motivator of all. You have to be comfortable with who you are and with your masculinity. So the word masculine has now got like this negative connotation around it, which is terrible, because you're a young man. It's not every young man. Some men don't feel this way. But a lot of young men, I remember myself, you've got this testosterone that's roaring through you. You're competitive. You're ambitious. You have goals. You have this energy. You want to assert yourself. But it's bad. It's bad. It's bad. You're not supposed to be like that, And the culture isn't about, there's no virtue in masculinity. Okay, there is such a thing as toxic masculinity, most definitely. But there are virtues in being masculine, and have to be redefined. And we have to have icons and role models for that. And so when I was growing up, oh God, I hated that when people said that when I was a kid. So I know you're going to hate me, but I'll say that. Anyway, I can't help it because it's true. When I was growing up, I watched like a lot of Westerns. It was the silent hero kind of thing, the Gary Cooper thing. But my idea of masculinity growing up was a man who was in control of himself, who wasn't mean, wasn't pushing people around, who was decent, who treated women well. So treating women well is a masculine virtue, is a good thing. It comes from a position of strength. You're not insecure about your masculinity. You don't have to prove that you're a man by demeaning women, by pushing them around, by calling them whores and bitches, etc. You don't have to take the Andrew Tate path in life. You can respect women, and respecting them is a sign of your strength, is a sign of being secure in your masculinity. You don't need to put other people down to make yourself feel better. Okay, so we have to redefine these qualities, but there are no icons like out there. You either have the Andrew Tates out of there, or you have these wimpy men who are just so afraid of being masculine. Okay, your aggression, your assertiveness, your testosterone, it's a good thing. It's how things get done. It's what energizes you, what puts you in the world. What makes you ambitious. What makes you assert yourself and motivate yourself. It has to be channeled, it has to be disciplined. But you have to see, we were talking about our people-pleasing things and how you reframe it. You have to see who you are and see the virtue in it and see the power in that. And it's a cultural problem because men are very confused. I didn't have that confusion when I was growing up, So now it's very difficult because you're being told that all these things that you feel naturally are negative. They're only negative if you can't control them. So self-control is a very masculine quality. You're able to control yourself. You're able to control your passions. You're able to not talk too much if you don't need to talk too much. I'm not saying that women don't have, that the opposite is wrong. These are things that men naturally have because of their biology. And I'm sorry, I do believe in these things. But they're good. They're just how you use them that can be bad. And so I just wish there were more positive role models out there. I know I could be a real bastard. I could be a real asshole. I'm very competitive. When I play games, I like to win. And I can be a little bit mean about it. Okay, I mean, I'm a pleaser, but I like winning. I channeled it, all of my aggression, all of that testosterone. I'm not saying I have more than anyone, I just have normal amounts. I poured it into my books. I poured that edge, that aggression, that like, damn you, I don't really like you, I don't like the world, into the 48 laws of power, into here's how these are how people manipulate, these are how people can be bad and cruel. And damn it, I'm going to get all my aggression by exposing it and showing it and being as real and direct. I channel it into something as opposed to hurting other people kind of thing. So finding ways to channel your aggressive tendencies is a positive way of being a man. You have to find whatever that is. Sports is a great example, but there are other things as well. You have to be smart and you have to be in control of yourself and you have to be disciplined. But let's just add discipline to one of those other masculine virtues. It just needs to be redefined. We need people out there, men, and even women who feel comfortable with this, saying these are the virtues. These are the good sides of being a man and being masculine. And so even mastering things and even being competitive is not bad. You build a business that kicks ass, that does really well, that gives people certain things that they needed or they wanted. So it's just a matter of how you channel that energy and how you control it. And what the virtues are is self-control, not feeling like you have to put people down in order to raise yourself up, feeling confident, not having to boast. A terrible toxic masculinity quality is boasting and saying, look how much money I have, look how much women I've slept with, look at all this other thing. You're just talking. It's just a lot of hot air. That's not strong. That's actually weak. So many powerful qualities actually come from a position of great weakness and insecurity. When I look at leaders who are always like boasting and talking about, all the great things that they've done, I see a little insecure, little weak child having to say these things, right? So it just depends on whether it comes from something solid and strong or it comes from massive wells of insecurity.